Hey, welcome to your Capricorn horoscopes for the week of December 17th through the 23rd. We are full on in that Mercury retrograde this week, although most of the week it is in Capricorn, and then at the end of the week it moves on to Sagittarius, where it belongs. Gosh darn it. 2 straight years of Mercury retrogrades being in Capricorn, and we're officially done with that at the end of this week. That's definitely something to celebrate. Not to mention the fact that it is solstice week, which means the Capricorn season is upon us towards the end of the week. About the 21st, actually, is solstice day, and that is also the day that the sun moves from Sagittarius to Capricorn. And it's time to celebrate you guys. And you've got planets like bookends, one right at the beginning of the sign towards the end of the week, and one right at the end of the sign as Pluto finally moves into 29 degrees Capricorn, where it's been stuck at 28 now for weeks. So we'll be watching it stuck in 29 degrees now for the next several weeks. By the time it finally gets back into Aquarius, it's going to go retrograde and come back again. Such is the nature of Pluto. It just takes its sweet time because it's so far away the other end of the lineup of planets there. And that's why it's such a slow moving planet. But you know what? It's okay. Pluto has such a beautiful influence in many ways, for sure, and it's continuing to be in that grand sextile with Uranus and Neptune. We do continue to have that influence going on, as it is very helpful in many ways, those planets working together. Uranus is focused on the past, Neptune is focused on past trauma. Specifically, Pluto is really focused on your support system. And the beautiful thing about that is you Capricorns don't necessarily ask for help, but occasionally that help is provided, whether you ask for it or not. And it's always nice when that does happen. That doesn't mean that you shouldn't ask for help, though. It is always a good idea to do so. The sun coming into your sign is also in a grand sextile with Pluto, I'm sorry, not Pluto, Jupiter and Saturn. So Saturn is your ruling planet, reminding you of your responsibility to your inner trauma in many, many ways, while Jupiter is focused on self, showing you that eliminating that trauma does help you grow personally, professionally, etc., etc. I kind of feel like we're at the very last couple of weeks of the year here. You're making your goals and your plans for 2024. Because I mean, come on, you're Capricorns. Let's face it, you've probably already done that. Now you're just looking them over again to make sure that you're on the right track. But this is part of the elimination process also. Also, what are you not taking into 2024? What is not going to appear in terms of an obstacle of your long-term goals? And that's where focusing on that inner trauma really comes into its own here, because Saturn is all about this is your responsibility. You need to take care of this. While lots of people, I mean, if I had a dime for every time I said, well, my parents weren't supportive of me, and that's why I am the way that I am, I'd have so many dimes. It's not even funny. And I'm not saying that you Capricorns do that, because I think out of all of the signs, you guys are the least likely to use that as an excuse. Not to say that it never happens, but you guys are the least likely to use that excuse. You know that your trauma is your responsibility. You know that your trauma should not hold you back. And if it is holding you back, you're allowing it to hold you back. And I think that that's really what this grand sextile is about, is it's just coming in and reiterating that for you. The sun square with Neptune, though, is interesting because Pluto's in a grand sextile with Neptune, but the sun on the other side of your sign there is having a challenge. Now, I think what's really interesting about that is Neptune's all about intuition. And the fact is that Capricorns are extremely logical. If it doesn't make sense, we're not going to put any time or effort into it. And intuition often falls under that category. And that's not necessarily helpful. You have to be open to your intuition to come in and help you out with your plans. And because a lot of intuition is your family members in spirit coming in to help you out. They can see a lot farther than you can in terms of what's happening here with your plans. So blocking that out just because it's came from a place that doesn't make sense isn't necessarily helpful to you. So I feel like by being so incredibly uber focused on your career goals and not allowing that intuition to come through, it does set you up to possibly miss things that might be helpful in terms of that goal planning, if that makes sense. Mercury's retrograde is also really interesting because Mercury is also in that grand sextile with Uranus and Saturn, at least from Thursday on to the end of the week as well. And you'll still feel the effects of Mercury all the way through to the end of the week, even though it's sort of bumped into Sagittarius by the very end of the week. It's still close enough to the cusp. In many cases, I feel that what's helpful about that, and I think I just sort of said something about this in Sagittarius, is with Mercury being all about communication, and we want to do the opposite of what Mercury normally does, which is to be silent and not necessarily communicate and listen. And this may be how you're blocking your intuition. I am guilty of, I know, I know, I know. And when you're a know-it-all, there's no reason to learn, right? So instead of reacting, instead of talking, listening, we're not going to learn without listening. And you never know. I mean, I'm really seeing a situation that comes up where somebody is trying to help you and you already have your plan, you know what you want to do. If you're not listening to that person, you might be missing something that might make the plan a little bit easier for you. It's not to say that your plan doesn't work, but you do want to incorporate anything that is going to make it easier and smoother from here on out. So, that's what I have for you guys this week. If you love your horoscopes, do consider clicking the link down in the description, sending a tip or donation through my coffee link. I would really appreciate that. There's another link there in the description as well. I am currently offering a 25% discount to all of my lovely fans. This month only, 25% off a whole hour, whether you want to connect to some loved ones in spirit for the holiday, whether you want to take a sneak peek at what 2024 has to offer you, whether you need some advice on how to get that going, doesn't matter. All of that is what the reading is for. And you can use that discount over and over and over again, right up until the last day of the month. All you need to do is make a note of the promo code. That's really important. Click the link. Make sure you put the promo code in there when you are booking, and easy peasy. So that's what I have for you guys. I'm Melissa Bruce, Heavy Metal Psychic. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you guys next week. You guys make it a great week. Because why would you make it anything else, right? I mean, come on. You're Capricorns. You rule the world, right? Make it a great week. I will see you next week.